Welcome back to another episode of Dentistry Talks. I'm your host, Gabby Bissett, and we are so glad you're back for another incredible conversation. Today's guest is Akke Rahman, an extraordinary mountaineer who has climbed Mount Everest not once, but twice, including an ascent in just 21 days whilst fasting for Ramadan. Akke's journey is a testament to the power of purpose and pushing beyond perceived limits. Today, we'll discuss what fuels Akke's purpose and why it's essential for both personal and professional growth. We'll also discuss the balance between physical and mental strength and why dental professionals should prioritise both in their careers. Akke will share his motivations, the challenges of extreme endurance, and what mountaineering has taught him about perseverance and discipline. Whether you're looking to gain insights into mental strength and resilience or simply want to hear about Akke's incredible journey, this episode is for you. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you for being here.
It's good to meet you.
Yeah, and you. How are you doing today? You feeling good?
I'm feeling good today.
Yeah.
I've had some good rest.
Good.
Got down last night and had a good night rest.
Rest is important. In fact, we'll talk a lot about, I think, rest and food and exercise over the course of this for the next 45 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
I
love food, by the way.
You love food. I love food as well. I will make a note of that to bring that up at a later point in the conversation.
Sure.
I'm going to throw you straight into the deep end and ask you about purpose and the idea of having a purpose. Why is that? Is that important to you? And if so, why? Yeah,
I mean, it's really important to have a purpose. Without purpose, what are you? You're just a headless chicken, aren't you? No, my purpose varies. It's changed as well. I mean, when I started off, I wanted to inspire my children.
Okay.
I wanted to be someone that they can look up to. And I wanted to show them that anything is possible. But that's sort of grown into like inspiring everyone around the world, in the UK, whatever it may be, is to inspire them to become better people, to know that there's no limits to what they can achieve. And if you believe you can actually achieve it. And that's my purpose behind what I'm doing. And I want to help them in the sense of what I just said, become better people and know that there's no limit. And also, I do a lot of work for charities. Most of my climbs are linked to charity in some way or another. And I raise money and help people as well.
Yeah, I like that you said your purpose varies. I think that's important to say, because it can look different as you grow as a person as well, can't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, initially it started off at home just to inspire the kids to become better people. But now it's taken off, and I want to inspire.
It's gone
everybody.
beyond that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's a thing that's worked for me, and I think that it can work for anyone if it's applied in the right way.
100%.
Yeah.
What do your kids think about what you do?
I think they're too young to understand it completely.
Oh, are they? Okay.
I mean, my daughter understands it and she fears for me.
Oh.
But she's happy about what I do, and she knows. I've learned some valuable lessons.
Absolutely.
Some almost costly lessons.
Yeah.
Which I can get the experience from and just, apply it to my future climbs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how did you get into this? So obviously it's quite a unique career and, well, interest and like you say there.
Hobby.
Yeah, hobby, I guess.
Hobby.
It sounds almost too minor to call it a hobby, because what you're doing is so significant and as you said, potentially costly. You're risking a lot going on these expeditions. How did you start off this hobby as a mountaineer?
It's it started off as a hobby, but now it's become a professional. I'm happy to say.
Yeah, good.
How did it all start? I was this is going back just a quick snippet.
Yeah.
When I was a child, 14 years old, I was very athletic. From a very young age, I was always athletic and I was competitive.
Okay.
And I always wanted to win everything. Even primary school, when we used to play sports and stuff, I was very competitive. I became triple-time champ of Greater Manchester when I was like 14.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I represented English schools.
That's incredible.
Greater Manchester at the English school
Yeah.
games. But I left all that. At the age of 16, I had my freedom. I left it, and then I went on to education, and then went into business and forgot everything. And then, years later, I'm like just thinking to myself, what do I do? I mean, I was we were doing well in the business, but I was wilting away in my desk in that corner. And I just thought there must be more to life, and I need to do something to inspire my kids. I can't become a triple jump champion again. Too old for that. I can't do.
Passed.
Yeah, I was running 100 meters at around 11.5 seconds.
Wow.
When I was a kid in my athletic days. There's no chance in hell I'm going into that. I'm too old for that as well. So I was thinking, and then I thought my mate always says to me, go climb mountains and stuff.
Okay.
Let's go Snowdon. And he's been asking me for years, and I always say yeah, but I sort of brush him aside. Yeah. I'm all excited with him when I'm there talking to him, and then when I go home I just forget about it.
Yeah.
And then one day I just thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then he calls me up and he goes, we're going to go Snowdon on this day, and if you don't go, we're never going to go, because every year you say this. we get together in Ramadan, and we have like a friends gathering.
Nice.
And we break our fast together, and we talk about it every year. And we never did. And that year he just called me up and said, if you don't want to go, we're never going to go, let's go. So then I started researching about the route I'm going to take. I've never been on a mountain, by the way.
Okay. Wow, okay. I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been on a mountain.
Nice. You like to go straight for Snowdon?
I went straight to Snowdon. I looked on the paths, what I'm getting myself into, how hard it's going to be. And from there on, we you know, on YouTube, when they give you like related videos.
Yeah.
So I went on and I went into Everest.
Got into a hole.
I got into a hole and I went into all this Everest and Elbrus and stuff like that. So I just thought to myself, you know what, if I go there and I don't have to like it, I just don't have to hate it. If I don't hate it, then I'm going to go climb Elbrus, which is Europe-sized mountain.
Okay.
That's what I told myself.
What country is that in?
In Russia.
Okay.
So that's what I told myself.
Yeah.
And I went, and I didn't particularly like the climb. It was the hardest thing I did in my life, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
But I didn't hate it. I took it on, and it was a challenge. So I came back 3 days later. I booked Elbrus.
Amazing.
And,
Amazing. Are you quite impulsive as a person?
At times I can be, yeah.
That would, that felt quite impulsive.
That was an impulsive decision.
I like
that. I made, and I just told myself, you know, it's more of a mathematical equation. If this happens, then that will happen. And that happened, so this happened. Easy as that.
Lovely. I like that. That's nice. It simplifies things. It means you don't get sort of dissuaded from taking a step. So that was essentially the rest is history.
The rest is history. I went there. It's a long story. I mean, I went there and I was in the shape of my life, I'd probably say. And I didn't get a summit. I was disappointed. I was depressed. It was because of bad weather, not because of me.
Okay. I'm great. The weather isn't.
The weather wasn't. But I knew I could do it.
Yeah, that's frustrating when that happens. I can imagine.
It's really frustrating. I came home and I was kind of depressed.
Yeah.
But on my WhatsApp, I was posting what I was doing, and I managed to raise about £2,500.
Wow. Okay.
And I sent the money to Bangladesh, and they built like 10 water wells, and these people were crying for me and praying for me, and I thought, wow. I was not going to do this.
Yeah.
Right? I wasn't going to do this at all. But my mates persuaded me to do it. And they said, you know, people go to Snowdon, they raise thousands, and you're going to something 6 times higher. And you don't want to raise anything. Are you stupid? So I reluctantly raised the money. And then when I realized what I'd done to people, I just, you know, something just like, I was in tears watching them.
Yeah, I bet.
And something just pulled the cords of my heart. And I just thought, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. Albeit for passion, I'll raise money and help people, and that's what I do.
I mean, it's fantastic that you can do something you enjoy. You know, it's challenging you both physically and mentally, and you're getting a lot from that. But then also, it's helping so many people. Also, it's like a win-win, really, isn't it?
It's a win-win for me. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
By the way, I did go back to Elbrus and I climbed it in a day.
And summit.
I got to the summit. I got to the top in a day, and it was like the fastest known British thing that.
Incredible.
You know, without acclimatization as well. I just went there and I just told the guy I'm going to go to the top, and that's it.
I mean, I don't understand how you have the kind of mental strength to like gear yourself up for that. Is there anything you do to prepare? Physically, we can talk about that a bit later on, but mentally, is there anything you have to do to kind of get yourself to the right mindset to accomplish something like that?
No, focus.
Okay.
It's as easy as that. If you set your mind to something, focus, concentrate, and you'll get it done. I think it's very important. I mean, I went there with the sole intention of summiting, and in the back of my head, I said to myself, I didn't take the full 6 days last time, and I could have done it. But let me challenge myself.
Yeah.
Let me challenge myself.
Well, I can say you definitely did do that.
I mean, let me challenge myself and let me try and see if I can do it in 2 days. But when I got there, I literally had like 3 days to do it, and then I'd have to get out because I went, and then I was sent back from Turkey because of COVID.
Okay. Oh, it was around then. Okay.
It was around COVID time, and then when I came back, I got COVID. I didn't even know. When I went for my PCR, they said, "Oh, you're positive." I'm like, "Well, how's that even possible?"
Yeah.
But I had to wait, and then my visa's almost running out, and then eventually I managed to land in Russia with only 3 days left.
So you're like, let's do it.
I was just like, I'm here. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure I do it this time. But in between then, I'd already summited, Kilimanjaro and Mont Blanc within 7 days. So
I'm noticing a theme here with you challenging yourself and wanting to do things that perhaps a lot of people don't think are possible. And something when I was reading around what you've done and achieved, so to go to Everest, and we'll talk a bit more about that, but what I think was particularly significant is you've climbed it not once but twice. You went back and did it again. Well, I mean, first of all, tell us about that. How comes that's twice now?
I don't think it's enough though.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
I don't think it's enough. Look,
okay.
When I went first time round, I did it, and I became like the first British Muslim to do it. And, the most important thing is we raised £250,000 for charity.
Amazing.
That was really important for me because that's one of my purposes. But I went back as part of my 14 Peaks challenge that I'm doing with UKIM, and I just thought that, why not go back again? It's there to climb, so why not go back?
Yeah, absolutely. No. I mean, you've probably been asked this many times, but I need to know, and I'm sure everybody listening and watching wants to know, what was it like?
What was it like? If I say it was easy,
don't.
I'd actually be lying. It was really hard.
Yeah.
The first time around when I went, I did it in 21 days, which is, almost half the time, and I was fasting half the time as well. On my acclimatization, it was really difficult. I mean, I put on one of my posts, I don't know if you come across it, my throat was so dry you could light a match on it.
No.
That's how dry it was.
That makes me panic. Was it hard to breathe? It
was hot. Landing in Lukla, walking to the next post, it was really difficult. So that was really hard. And then after Eid, it was even harder because we're going up the mountain, and I did a rotation during fast as well. But that was tough, so I had to have some water. Yeah, absolutely. I think climbing that generally is tricky. Than to fast and climb, it's just something I cannot get my head around. It's very impressive. I mean, most of the first part was walking, isn't it? Trekking to base camp. Yeah. So it's hard. I mean, I've run like 25 kilometers whilst fasting. Yeah. And I've not had any issues. I mean, I guess your body gets used to it, but yeah, perhaps the first part of it was like trekking. The hard part was that you're gaining altitude. So that was something to be weary of. Is that what catches a lot of people out? Yes. Yeah. Yes, the fact that you're starving of oxygen, there's not a lot of it in the air that you're breathing in. It makes it really difficult. So it's important to, acclimatize properly. I don't know why, but I've got this thing that I can get to maybe around 6,000 meters and you're fine. And any given day, I'm fine with that. I hope that doesn't change. It's a gift. I think it's a gift. I think it's a gift that I've been naturally blessed with, and that's why God gave me this gift. I use it for good. Yeah, I think apparently you're definitely better placed to say this is true or not. But I've heard that it actually, whether you acclimatise well or not, isn't to do with your physical fitness. It's kind of like luck in a way. Sometimes it is, because some elite athlete go to Mount Everest and they struggle. Yeah. And they're really fit and healthy at sea level. But when they get there, it's a different game. It's more to do with your biological makeup sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
Most of the times, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not a scientist, so I can't really comment on that.
But there probably is some, obviously, you know, training and being fit and actually having some exposure to altitude could help. But I do, yeah, as you said, you could be super fit and like do all types of things. Sometimes
your
it
body
doesn't work.
just doesn't agree with it sometimes. I guess you're quite unlucky if that's the case. You can spend a month there, but you might not get used to it. I'm yet to come across anyone like that, but
Well, luckily you don't have that problem.
I'm glad I don't have that problem yet. Yeah.
So I want to talk about physical and mental strength. So obviously the both are linked, but it requires both to achieve a lot of what you've done. And I think a lot of people listening would be really interested to understand what is it that do you feel is more important in those situations to kind of have control over?
To be honest with you, it depends on the situation.
Okay.
It varies. For me, both are equally important. Well, actually, no. I think physical strength is 40%.
Okay.
Mental strength is 60%.
Uh-huh.
Especially when you're in these environments and your brain is starved of oxygen, you're having to make these, life or death, decisions.
Yeah.
So you've got to be mentally really, really strong.
Yeah.
To be able to cope with that kind of pressure and making that, because a lot of the times when you're there, when hypoxia gets you, you start losing your senses. Your brain can't think.
Yeah.
You start hallucinating. I know quite well about that as well, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
So it's really important. But physical, the 40% physical that I'm talking about, that 40% has to be 110%. You have to be physically able to climb, to haul your body up, and then that's half the job, bringing it back down. So that's really important. So physical fitness, making sure you're fit, your cardio and everything it has to be top notch.
Yeah, of course. There'll be people who perhaps don't prioritize maybe their physical health or mental health too much. Why is it? I know it sounds very obvious, but for you, why is it so important that both of these are worked on as a human?
As a mountaineer, it's one way, but as a human, I can just say this: that it's really important that we look after ourselves. Health is wealth, and we've been gifted with our bodies, and we need to look after them and make sure we do whatever we can to keep ourselves fit. I mean, I'm quite spiritual, and I think that this gift that God has given me, I need to take care of it, because I'm going to be, I'll be questioned about it, and I need to make sure I do what I can to keep myself in the right state.
Yeah. Anything
else is down to Him.
Does that spiritual side play into anything when you're actually there in the moment climbing? Is that it kind of leads me to my next question of what motivates you. And I know we've touched on this briefly, but I'd be really interested to know, what is it actually in there that is driving you when you're in these really tough situations and you're thinking, I need to get from here to there, and everything is working against you? What is that motivation?
Just to be better.
Okay.
I want to be better, not for anyone else, but for myself.
That's nice.
Yeah, I just want to be. I mean, my biggest competitor is myself. I want to always prove myself and go a step further every time. Next time I go on Everest, I might want to do it without oxygen. I don't know.
Has that been done?
Yes, it has been done. It's quite rare. Maybe out of the 400 or 500 climbers every year, maybe one of them does it every year. I didn't hear of anyone this year, but I'm sure there was one, at least, that did it without oxygen.
So that's something in the pipeline for you that you want to kind of...
Maybe. I think I want a couple of more attempts at it.
Okay.
And then maybe I might think about it. I do fancy it at some point, but I don't think it's not important. I mean, for me, the summit is important.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to get to the top and then get back down safely. That's the most important thing. Because I have a purpose, and my purpose is also to get back home to my family.
Absolutely. I was going to ask about that actually. Is that quite tricky to be away from your family and having those sort of thoughts and feelings that you're missing them, they're not by your side, you can't kind of talk to them when you probably really want to. Is that an extra layer of challenge for you?
It becomes a challenge when you're there.
Yeah.
First time round I went, I remember I actually fell into a crevasse and I had all these visions and hallucinations.
Yeah.
And, you know, I saw my son crying and I thought to myself, you know what, I gotta get out of this and I gotta do it. I never thought about quitting. I just thought, you know what, pull me out, let me go back, base camp, regroup, and then come back. Wow. I think they're the reason why they make me a better climber, because I want to go there. I have a sense of purpose. I have a goal. I want to achieve it and come back safely for them. So they motivate me to be better and get back quicker.
That. I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I ask myself the question, do I do these climbs really fast because I miss them and I want to come home quicker?
Yeah. Do you know what? I 100% can see how that would... I'm a bit like that with things. I'm quite patient as a person. So I will sometimes go for a run, and it might make more sense for me to go slower than I should, but I don't want to, because I'm like, if I do this quicker, it's done quicker, and then I can get back to whatever is continuing.
I can completely relate to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm supposed to go out on a slow run, I just can't be bothered. I just want to get it over and done with.
Yeah, that's it. Particularly if the weather's terrible. You like, just come on, just get me back in.
When the weather is bad, it's really difficult to get it. So that's the kind of mindset that you need. There you go. That's a typical example. Like sometimes when it's really, really bad, I just think to myself, oh, come on, I can't be bothered. Yeah. I'll make it up tomorrow. But I have to have that mindset. I have to push myself to get out there. Once I'm out, it's okay. I'm sure you know this. Yeah, once you're out, it's okay.
It's the anticipation and the build-up to getting outside. So yeah, totally absolutely on board with that one.
Absolutely. So I can completely relate to you. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like a machine that just goes out, day in, day out. I mean, I have feelings. No,
it's really important, and I think a lot of people in dentistry can relate to that. It's a job that requires a lot of concentration, high focus, high pressure, a lot of people coming in and out, high turnover, and I think it's quite important to humanize us as people, because we can forget that. Even though you are achieving these incredible physical and mental accolades, or you're reaching these summits. Yeah, feats. Lovely. Thank you for that. I had that word just at the tip of my tongue. You still have days where you're like, I don't want to do this.
I have it a lot, I'll be honest with you. I mean, it sometimes can get tough. Maybe it's age getting to me, I don't know.
Yeah, what? No.
But, everyone goes through it. Yeah. And, you get into a comfort zone and you think, oh, I can't be bothered. And, and you have other priorities, something comes in the way. But you got to fight through it. You have to fight through it in order to be better, and you have to stay focused. Yeah. And staying focused is really difficult for us as human beings, because so many things in life happen and we get distracted so easily.
So easily.
So that's why, a strong person, a strong mind is required. Like you said, in dentistry, I can imagine from my visit to my dentist, they're hanging around. Physically, it's important to be,
it's a lot of very uncomfortable
positioning works, and if they've got like a long procedure, you have to be physically able to do it, and then you've got to be mentally, strong to stay 100%. Focused at this. Yeah. And it can be quite intricate work, can't it? Yeah. Like, looking into someone's mouth and whatever
it's
you
small,
do.
Everything's tiny.
Everything's tiny. Some of them do it through cameras, don't they?
Yeah, there's all types of cool technology now. But you're right, hyper focused and physically, if you're crouched over somebody's mouth for a long time, and as you say, some of these procedures can be really long. Yeah, it's a lot of strain all over.
A lot of strain. Yeah. So for them, being physically fit and active is really important. Otherwise, they'll probably break down.
Yeah, and yeah, definitely, absolutely. And it's not uncommon for people to have some long-term health issues, so things like sort of stretching and things like that is crucial.
Yeah, if you're bent over on someone's mouth 8 hours of the day, eventually it's going to get to you.
Yeah, definitely.
So being physically fit and making sure you get that half an hour to an hour in. I would probably say 3 or 4 times a week, 4 times a week if you can. Yeah. Is really important. Otherwise, RSI and stuff will start kicking in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Eventually. Also mentally as well.
Yeah.
You have to be focused. You have to keep yourself together all the time because, when I'm on the mountains, sometimes I'm really relaxed because I'm, there's a lack of oxygen and I'm like, I'm just so tired thinking, I don't know. And my thought process is really slow. It makes me tired just
thinking about it. Yeah.
Thought process is really slow. And every step is like, it's really slow, I mean, let me put it to you this way. The summit from Camp 4, which is around 8,000 meters, to the summit of Mount Everest, it's about a kilometer, maybe a little bit more than a kilometer, but it can take from 12 to 18 hours to go up and down that and to come back to Camp 4. That's
allowed me to really visualize just how difficult we're talking.
Yeah.
So a kilometer.
It's only
ascent.
About one. I don't know how accurate my GPS is. It's about 1.2 kilometers from 8,000 meters to the 8,849, and then back to 8,000 meters. Right. So you're looking at about 2.5 kilometers.
Wow.
And that takes anywhere from 12 to 18 hours. I mean, the first time around I did it, it took me 18 hours.
Yeah.
I think this time I probably did it in about 15 or something like that. I didn't really measure it.
Yeah.
But that's how difficult it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to ask, actually, this has to be really expensive.
It is really expensive. I don't know if anyone knows the figures and stuff.
No, please. And that's what I was going to ask. So what are we talking here?
What are we talking? Everest, from a basic point of view, you can get like a no-shopper expedition for around 25 grand.
Oh.
25 grand, that's like really basic. You don't get any support whatsoever.
Really?
You might get base camp services like food and stuff, but anything above the mountain, it's down to you. But typically people pay around 35 to 50k.
Wow.
For climbing Mount Everest.
It's not cheap.
It's not cheap at all, and I'm always on the prowl for sponsors. I'm doing the 14 peaks at the moment.
Sorry, for anyone who doesn't know, what is that?
The 14 peaks is the 14 highest mountains in the world. There's only 14 mountains that are over 8,000 meters that contain a death zone.
Okay.
And I want to do all 14. And to put it into context, only 0.0000, I think, 40.4% of the world have climbed Mount Everest. That's about 6,000 people.
Jesus.
Probably around 11,000 summits, because some people do it more than once.
Yeah.
I've done it twice, and there's people out there. Kami Shep has done it like 30 times, I think now, or 32 times. So to put it into context, the 14 peaks has only been done by about 55 people, I think.
Wow. Okay.
In history, yeah.
Okay.
So maybe I'll become the 56th person.
Yeah, we'll watch out for that. So have you given yourself a time frame for this, or is it just as and when?
I've given myself a time frame of about 18 months.
Okay.
So about 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
It's about 18 months.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's quite fast. There are people that have done it faster, a lot faster. 2 people that I can think of. But I've given myself 2 months so I can do it properly and raise the funds that I need to raise, and help people at the same time. But like I said, I'm always looking for sponsors. If anyone in the dentistry industry wants to sponsor me,
thank you. Yeah,
there's a potential for exposure and media coverage and stuff.
Incredible.
But yeah.
I honestly could not. If somebody had asked me how much you think it costs to climb Mount Everest, I'm not quite sure I would have gone to that figure, to be honest.
So that figure times 14.
Yeah, well, exactly.
The other mountains are not as much because the permits on them are not as expensive.
Not steep, yeah.
Yeah, but Everest is so commercialized that the Nepal government charge a big fee for it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it sounds like it's if they were all that expensive, that would I can imagine that 55 would be a lot smaller than that. But that's incredible. Good luck with all of that. How many have we done so far?
We've done 2.
Amazing.
Everest and Lhotse.
Okay.
And then the other ones will commence this year.
Perfect.
I hope.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've also done other mountains as well in between. Like Kilimanjaro, Mont Blanc. Amada Blanc was very eventful, where it was a close call.
Okay. In what sense?
It's a 6,800 meter mountain that's close to Everest. It's the first time I went to the Himalayas. I come off the 1-day climb on Elbrus and I was buzzing off that. I went there, 25-day usual expedition. I cut it down to 15.
Wow.
Lost 4 days due to bad weather.
Uh-huh.
I went there and had some pizza and I got a stomach bug. The next morning, I decided to go on and climb up to Camp 1. And my body was thinking, do I acclimatize or do I get rid of this bug? Because I got a bug. And then in the end, I don't think it did either. And I came down with HACE, which is high altitude cerebral edema. And yeah, I was.
And what does that look like for you? What were you sort of going through?
I was hallucinating. I lost control of my body, my muscles. I couldn't do anything, and then I had to get airlifted.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's horrible. That sounds. Were you scared?
I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
I was buzzing.
Do you have any memory of it? I'd be interested to know.
I have memories such as me. They were trying to persuade me to get onto a helicopter.
Okay.
And I was being a prat and refusing. It was like I was drunk because I don't know what's going on because my brain's starting to swell.
No, of course.
Because of the lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
And it's suffocating. So I didn't know what was going on, and they persuaded me, and I was hallucinating. And at that point, I daydreamed that somebody said to me that, oh, well, this guy's going to come and pick you up. And I thought, oh, yeah, he's my hero. I want to take a selfie with him. Yeah, get him over. That's how I agreed to the rescue. Gosh. And then they got me on the phone and they go talk to the guys. I'm like repeating. It's a funny sight.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah.
But it was very serious.
Yeah, of course.
But it was like
there were some stories that
we can laugh at it now.
Were you hospitalised then and had to
5 days? Yeah.
Wow.
I was in intensive care for 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
They did like all these MRI scans and stuff like that. Every day they did a scan on me, and then they let me out on a Saturday. Monday morning, I flew back into base camp. I tried to climb it.
Oh my gosh.
That was probably that was the best climb of my life. I didn't summit. I had to turn back because I was like half the man I was when I went back. And my guide just said, mate, we got to an exposed ridge about 6,500-ish or 400 meters, 300 meters from the summit. On the exposed ridge, the wind was just throwing me around like a rag doll. And my guide was like, mate, that's enough.
Yeah, it's too much.
It was a good job that it was in his hand. And he said no.
I think I love how you talk about
it's determination. Honestly,
these
it's
challenges. So you had this. It's fair to say a bit of a setback with this. You're in hospital for 5 days, and you thought, actually, how do you recover from a setback?
I'll tell you this: I've had setback after setback after setback.
Yeah.
For me, it's really difficult. Now I'm struggling with the finances for my 14 peaks to find sponsors, but. When I went to Elbrus the first time, I told you I didn't get a summit. I went back, but when I went back, I got to Turkey and I was supposed to catch a connecting flight. They refused to let me on the plane because of COVID. They had some sort of procedure that you have. If you want to go to Russia, you go directly from your country. You can't do any stopovers. So they sent me back, and then I come back and I booked my ticket straight away. But I never got to go because my PCR had expired by the time I got to the UK.
I see.
And then I had to do another one, and they said I'm positive, and I had to sit at home. I thought that's it, my mountaineering career is over. Yeah. And then after 13 days, I looked at my passport. I thought there's 7 days left.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can go. And I had no chance in hell of going.
Yeah.
Because they said to me that you're never going to get a negative test because people, even after their isolation period, still test positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to try it. I got it. And it was negative, and I just went, and that's one of the setbacks. And when I went to Ahmad Ablam, I just thought to myself, what can I do now to get back on this mountain? When I woke up in the hospital, all the doctors were around. It was about 10, 15 people. They asked me my name. Straight away, the thought came into my head, how do I get back to the mountain?
Wow.
So these guys are never going to let me back. So they asked me my name. I gave them my name, my address. I even gave them my passport number to show them, look, I'm still with it.
Yeah.
So this is what determination can do. I think you have to be determined. You have to stay focused on your goals in order to achieve them. And my motto is, if you believe in something, you will work your backside off to achieve it.
I can see you live by that, definitely.
I always try to do that.
It's incredible, and I think that's really good advice. However, those challenges or setbacks look for people, obviously they're going to look very differently depending on what situation or career people are in. But to get up and go and know that that's just part of the journey, you need to keep going. You can't have a perfect challenge-free time all the time.
It will never ever be like that. I mean, people might see me and think he's had it easy. Yes, I might have had it easy in certain aspects, but it's always been a challenge, and it's like that it's not just me as a mountaineer. Dentists, lawyers, any profession, you will always have setbacks and challenges, but you need to stay focused and just continue. And if you believe in your vision, whatever you do, you will do it to ascertain that at the end. And if you stay like that, you can get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's what I think anyway.
No, I like that. No, I do. I like that. I think the question I have to ask, honestly, listening to some of the stories that you have and the experiences you've gone through, is do you think there's such a thing as pushing limits too far?
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, I after 5 days in hospital, and then I went back for some more. Honestly, on a realistic note, I don't think there's any limits.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody said I wanted to grow wings and fly, that's impossible.
Oh, yeah.
We know that.
There's a difference,
Yeah, there's a difference. I mean, I think you just push on.
Yeah.
Keep on pushing on to a point where you think, you know what, I've done enough. I can relax now.
Yeah. Do you allow yourself that time?
Right now?
Yeah.
No.
To chill, to sort of have a bit of like, how do you unwind? I'd love to know how you sort of, when you're not up on a mountain, what does your day look like?
Chicken burgers and
oh yeah, it comes back to the bit at the beginning. You said I love food.
Yeah, I love food.
Yeah, there we go.
I unwind by watching TV.
Yeah,
I just spend time with the kids, just around family. I mean,
do you feel that's crucial to have that?
100%. 100%. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we always have to go back somewhere, and that's a home. And in the home, you might have a wife, you might have kids, you might have a mother and father and brothers and siblings and whatnot. So it's always important to have that downtime, because without that downtime, what are you? Just a machine, aren't you then?
Yeah.
And machines have no feelings.
Yeah, no, you're right. No. You're right. I think it comes back to what we said about being human and I think it's important to find that balance in life, and I also think it helps to appreciate the achievements that you do kind of collect on your way. So what you've been doing, it's that contrast. I think it helps you to appreciate both.
Yeah. Some people will say, because he's more concerned about his family, he's not going to push himself as hard. But they don't know me.
No.
They don't know you. If you were in that position, or
absolutely.
anyone, they don't know them, because at the end of the day, what makes me stronger is my family. I want to be better for them. I want to achieve my goals, but at the same time, I don't want to do it, relentlessly and risk myself. So, my decisions have to be better. I don't know how I would say that. Yeah, better, because I have to make better informed decisions under pressure. So physically, I have to be that much more stronger. I'm not physically, sorry, mentally.
Yeah.
I have to be that much more stronger in order to be able to make these clear-cut decisions. As you can imagine, when your brain is lacking in oxygen and you're suffocating and whatnot, and you're making these decisions can be hard.
Yeah.
But you still have to make them nevertheless. And being mentally strong, it goes back to what we were saying earlier on. You have to be mentally strong to make these decisions and come back.
What do you feel mountaineering has taught you as a person and professionally?
As a person, it's made me a lot stronger, physically and mentally. I don't know, I'd probably say I'm fitter than I was when I was running 100 meters in 11 seconds. Now I can run like for hours on end without any issues. So physically and mentally, it's made me a lot stronger. Professionally, I'm able to go out, do these podcasts and speak to people and help people as well. So it's really important if something's worked for you and you believe in it, it's really important to pass that experience on. Because, you know, if you can help one person, it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, I believe that.
I honestly think, I mean, if I can motivate one person to get off the couch and go out and do some running and become fitter and a better person, that to me is enough.
Yeah.
You know, and if likewise, if I can change one person's life by donating even £1 or raising £1 for them, what else do you need?
It's a win. Yeah,
it's a win-win.
How much have you raised?
At the moment, it's hard to say, but I'd say it's around close enough to £1 million.
Incredible. How does that feel?
I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't. I mean, I'm proud and I'm happy that I've done it, but ultimately, like, this is the spiritual side of me coming out. I just hope that, you know, God can see that I've done this, and I get a bit of credit at the end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an incredible amount of money for starters, and to know that is going towards. Oh, I mean, have you got any particular charities? Is it one? Is it multiple? How does?
The thing is, at the moment, when I was doing it prior to what I'm doing now, we had 26 different charities we were giving the money to. So the money was going anywhere from the UK to anywhere in the world.
Nice.
At the moment, the charity I'm working with, UKIM, they have projects in the UK for homelessness, helping a neighbour, and they have projects further afield in Bangladesh, Pakistan.
I like that.
Wherever there's a need, because they're a charity, they'll help
be
out.
there.
They'll be there.
That's good. That's what comes to mind, I think, when people think charity, right?
Yeah.
To finalise, I just wanted to ask you, and I can imagine you've got so much you can pick from when I ask this question, but have you ever received a bit of advice that has just stuck with you, or that you continue to live by now?
That's a really hard one. I mean, I knew this was going to come. I don't know, to be honest with you, because I just live by the way I live.
Okay.
I
like that answer.
I live by the way I live. I mean, it's a lot of people have given me a lot of advice, and I've always listened to it, and I thought, you know what, that's really, really good. But sometimes when it comes to applying it, it doesn't apply to you because your situation is different. But people always just tell me, I mean, one person said to me, you know, whatever you do, don't give up, keep on going, because at the end of the day, what you're doing, some people might see it as it's for you, but all you got to think about is you're helping people. And £1 might, like I said before, £1 might make the whole difference in the world. For you, £1 is nothing, but £1 for somebody else might change their life. So just continue to do what you're doing and carry on.
And I'm assuming that is what you're doing.
That is what I'm doing. I just want to carry on. I want to climb the 14 peaks, and we're looking to, you know, raise a substantial amount of money, and help as many people as I can. And then, I don't know, I have this vision of hitting Everest in double figures. I don't know if that will ever happen because, you know, it takes a lot of money.
Yeah, of course.
But it's good to dream.
I also think a lot of the things that you have achieved, you probably thought, I can't believe I would get there now. If you rewind 10 years, would you think you'd be here?
It's not even been 10 years, you know. It's only been 6 years since I started climbing. You know
what? But even more significant then, rewind 10 years, you'd be like, what on earth?
I'll tell you something. I climbed Mount Everest. Actually, no. I climbed Mount Snowdon. I went to Elbrus. I could self-fund it, and it was relatively cheap. Not cheap, but like it was affordable for me. And I went and I did it. Even when I climbed Elbrus, I never dreamt that I could climb Everest. I never even thought about it. I thought I'll get to it if I ever get to it. Maybe in 10 years' time I'll save up and I'll go. But I actually ended up there in less than 3 years. You know.
Wow.
And I never thought that could happen. So anything could happen.
Yeah, I like that. You proved that, I think, in your journey. You know, such a short amount of time, so much has happened. So
yeah,
I think,
and I never thought that I'd be able to do the 14 peaks, right? But then somebody came along and said, "Yeah, we'll do it," and we've got the first phase done, and I just need some more money to do the second phase now.
I can't wait to follow your journey. I'm going to be tuning in to see how you get on. But thank you so much. I really, really am grateful for you being here and
what do you mean? By the way, what do you mean by follow? Do you want to come up a mountain with me instead?
I would absolutely love that. You know, I'm in Scotland. I can acclimatise and give it a little bit of a go. Obviously, nothing compared to Ben Nevis. You've been there, right?
Oh yeah, I've been to Ben Nevis.
Yeah, nice.
No, I like Ben Nevis.
Oh, it's a good one.
It's a nice mountain to climb.
I've only climbed. Obviously, is it 3 peaks? Yeah, I've only done Snowdon. I haven't done. Was it Ben Nevis? What's the one in England?
Scuffle Pike.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
You've not done that?
No. Where is it? Is it in Peak District?
It's in the Lake District.
Oh, Lake District. No.
It's in the Lake District. It's a really rewarding climb. It's probably more direct than the ones you've been on.
Okay.
Because
it's a bit more sort of severe in its. Okay.
It's not severe. There's like loads of steps going.
Okay.
We make it
There's
easy
a handrail.
There is a hard route, but I'd probably say go on the tourist route.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Stick to the tourist route first time.
For safety,
round. Yeah. But it is still quite steep, and I took a bunch of people up on in August.
Yeah. Enjoyed it.
They enjoyed it. They loved it. They all summited and they came back.
Amazing.
And then we went for a nice curry.
Do you know what? No better day, in my opinion. That sounds perfect for me.
We stopped along the way. Somebody knew someone that has a restaurant.
Oh,
we went
word of mouth, perfect.
Yeah, we just indulged.
Yeah, knowing you've just climbed a mountain as well. So yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.